Hi, I'm Jean Schumacher. I'm founder of Simply Plant Based, where I have a lot of programs to help you to change your health destiny, including the Weight Loss Advantage to help you lose 50 to 100 pounds without dieting. I love that part. And then we just launched the Pregnancy Advantage with Dr. Deborah Shapiro, where we help women to get their bodies pregnant ready. And if you're having trouble conceiving, we want to see if we can give you a hand there too. And today I have the pleasure and privilege of interviewing Wendy Swiger, who is the admin for the Facebook group WVegan, standing for West Virginia Vegan. Wendy, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today.
I appreciate it so much. Great to be here.
Okay. Well, Wendy, how much weight have you lost?
Well, 56, 53 pounds, depending on what day of the week it is.
Okay.
But enough to be very happy.
Oh, I bet. Well, tell us about growing up. I mean, did you and your family face obesity issues?
No, we did not. I didn't start really putting on the weight. And well, I've always thought I was chubby as a teenager, but I didn't really start putting on the weight until after children. Yeah, that was in the 80s, I'd say.
Well, tell us about addictions. I mean, do you have them? What impact did they have on your life?
Fatty, creamy, cheesy. I was raised by a Dutchman, and so we had the best cheeses in the house: triple cream brie and Gouda, and just really smelly ones like Stilton, and wonderful blue cheeses. I loved cheese, so I would have to say cheese and fatty, creamy foods would be addictive in combination, particularly with like starchy bread, bready, noodly kind of things.
Oh yeah. Now you're talking. Yeah.
I can still do the Pavlov slobber when I think about them. So.
Well, what other issues did you have to deal with, being overweight?
Just the shame of it, really. There was a person in my family who sort of insinuated all the time that I was just lazy because I was fat or overweight or whatever it was. And there was a lot of shaming going on there. And I began to become the person who felt unattractive, and I became unattractive, and just a lot of self-flagellation about being overweight. That's not fun. So.
No, I know. Been there, done that. So
yeah.
Before you began your plant-based journey, what health issues were you dealing with?
Well, I didn't really know what the health issues were because in my early adulthood, I didn't have health insurance. And occasionally I would have to go get a checkup for one thing or another. So I have a few scant records, but it appears, and I didn't know what the numbers meant. So it appears that I have had chronic high cholesterol and chronic high blood pressure, and it runs in the family. And plus I was overweight. And in fact, I was, before too long, after the second child, even after the first child, I was 50 pounds overweight easily. I was I'm 5'3", I was 190 some pounds. And that was, 40 years, 35 years ago.
So I'm assuming that you've been on all the diets,
All of them, every one of them, even Atkins, which just makes me ashamed now that I know what I know about the animals and all that. But at the time, I didn't even care. I just wanted something that would move the weight off. And so I did the Atkins and ate all that meat and cheese. And I couldn't, after 5 or 6 months of that, it moved the weight pretty quick. And I think I lost like 30 pounds so I was happy at 165 at 5'3". I thought I was done. I've reached nirvana. It's not going to get any better. And then I started eating salad and bread, and because you just can't all that fat.
Yeah.
So finally started eating regular food, and then it all came back. So.
Well, how did you learn about being plant-based? I mean, what was that, aha moment with the light bulb click, above your head? What was that moment for you?
Well, when we were young college kids, we ran into an old vegan who was 45 at the time. I'm 64 now. But he fascinated us with his delicious meals that he made and all of his Taoist philosophies and things. Then fast forward, had children, had to live in the real world, and had busy working husband and busy jobs and kids in school. And then my daughter kind of got interested in vegan again and brought it to the table. Oh, before that, somewhere when they were little, my husband and I were in a hotel room. We saw an undercover video of a pig slaughterhouse, and we both instantly said, "Oh, we're done. No more pork for us. No, never again." So, but then we slid back into just regular eating, and we quit the ham and the pork, but we kept eating chicken and fish and beef and all the other things. So, but that never left my mind. And then the daughter kind of got interested in it when she was in early college. And she even cooked us a Thanksgiving dinner in 2009. So when I was divorced from her father, then I had a chance to really pay attention to myself and make myself healthy. And I thought, I want to really try this. So I did. And I didn't know about the fat. So I became vegetarian, and I got rid of the meat and kept all the cheese. And then I lost a bunch of weight through brute force and fasting, and the Stanley Burroughs lemonade fasting really took it off quick. And so I had a brief respite there where I enjoyed thinness. But then after trying to be vegan, and I found my future husband, and we were dating, and I kind of dragged him into it. After that, I realized the cheese is worse than the meat as far as health goes, because after reading. So I started the vegan thing in 2011. But I kept fatty because I kept imitating standard American diet. So there's lots of creamy cashew sauces and avocado and olive oil and coconut oil and cookies and things like that. So, boom, 2019, February, I was 193 pounds again.
Wow.
I've been vegan. I thought I was doing a healthy diet.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just gave up.
That's the point where vegan and plant-based differ, because Coca-Cola and potato chips are vegan, and I think we both can agree that those are not health-promoting products, So
they're not. But what a shocker that avocados and extra coconut, extra virgin olive oil and coconut. What a shocker that those are not good for you. And nuts, you can't have lots of nuts and lots of avocado. I mean, people are just stunned when they hear that I don't eat these things.
I know.
No peanut butter, no granola.
Right. No. Well, did your doctor support your change of diet? I mean, what did they say or do along this journey?
Well, I'm not a doctor kind of person. I've been healthy most of my life, and I was raised by a doctor, and I saw people coming to him constantly with foolish sorts of concerns. So I go at the very last minute, and if I don't have to go, I don't go, and I do not take pills. What convinced me was I met a person at our potluck club, the one that was before WVegan, and he said he had lost 70 pounds eating potatoes. And I thought, that's insane. Potatoes, they make you gain weight, like everybody. But I went home and I read about it. And I decided, well, I'll try it. I didn't ask the doctor because I know that they don't know any better. My father died of heart disease. He did not know that eating ham and cheese every single day for his lunch, and then having steak for dinner and triple cream brie cheese along with it, and avoiding the vegetables, because he was raised in Nazi-occupied Holland, and it was they had to eat only cabbage, and they were starving half the time. So for him, it's a sign of success and a wonderful life to be able to have this lovely, gourmet food, and that's how we lived. That we ate all that, and so I didn't want to tell the doctor, because why not? I mean, how dangerous can fruits and vegetables be, and potatoes? So I just did it. And then at 3 days into the potato reset, I got a little bit dizzy. I had to give in and get blood pressure meds. So I was on blood pressure medicine. My cholesterol was beginning to rise up. The LDL was going up. I had hyperlipidemia. Didn't even know what that was. Then I had high sugar. I was pre-diabetic. I was all of these things. So she was getting ready to slam me a big bunch of pills to take. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. So I did this reset. And within 3 days, I saw ankles for the first time. Ooh, what are those? And I was a little bit dizzy when I stood up. And I thought, that's a sign of low blood pressure. Ran down the hill where I said, Doc, test me. And she said, your blood pressure is low. This is 3 days now. So I said, my goodness. And I kept going. I went for 12 days on potatoes and then transitioned into the, whole food, no fat thing. And then when I went through the checkup a month later, she said, my God, your drop in LDL is the biggest I've ever seen anybody in my life that's not due to medicine. And I said, well, she said, what did you do? And I said, well, I did the Ornish thing. You know Ornish? And I always say Ornish because people recognize his name. And she was like, oh, yeah. And I started, sharing the gospel of good nutrition with my doctor. And in fact, I'm still, she's in my sights. I'm going to be working on her because she's young. I'm going to be working on her. But she's all like, wow, you've lost all this weight. And every time I come back, you're still lost weight.
Well, and I had to educate my doctor too, as I was going through a lot of these changes myself. At this point, it's, 100 pounds. And, as I'm going through all these changes and all these things were happening to my body, I'm like, this explains this. Let me explain this. Let me explain why, and I would bring her material to read to educate her. And I'm like, okay, being the teacher I am. All right, I'm going to call you in 2 weeks. I expect you to have read this and let's have a discussion on this. And she's like, and I wouldn't get the call or we wouldn't have time. And I'd be like, I'd call the office. Hi, it's Jean again. She hasn't done her homework. Okay. I need to call her mother. What's going on here? Okay. So no, I did have to educate her there. But I saw on Facebook that you were in a horrific accident. What happened there?
We were in a convertible on a gravel road and the shoulder on the left side caved in. It looked like it was solid, but it was actually very soft. And then the car rolled very slowly, just like this, boom, on our heads. So my husband and I were pinned under this convertible in a creek bed full of rocks and water. And honestly, I thought we were going to die. I didn't think anybody would find us there. But I prayed, and within 20 minutes, somebody came and unbuckled my husband from the seatbelt. He was able to slither out, and I've slithered out through that little hole. And then right after that, the stress of that event caused my husband to have a heart attack. And the thing that was so amazing and such a blessing about that is that he had heart disease and we would not have known it because he doesn't have the family history that I do. I know I have it, even though I haven't had the advantage of an angiogram, because I have all the symptoms, and I saw my father die, miserably from it. And, aunts and uncles, fit people who play tennis and are athletic, they die. They just drop dead in their 60s, and I'm 64, I'm not ready. So I know I have it, and I'm taking preventative actions, especially since I found out about Ornish and the whole Esselstyn. Oh, I love Dr. Esselstyn. Oh, thank God for him.
He is truly amazing. The person that you see speaking on videos and stuff like that, that's how he is. He's very, very genuine, very down to earth, and such a pleasure to talk to, honestly. I've been able to be lucky enough to have quite a few conversations with him, and he's just, so sweet.
Well, the thing is, when I started doing it and losing the weight and all my numbers improved, that's still not enough for people around me in my world for some reason. It's just so hard to break these addictions. Yeah. So, and I was quite frustrated. I was having a little trouble with my husband, and he had good numbers. He had good blood pressure, good cholesterol, was not diabetic. He just had extra weight, but other than that, he looked like he was fine. And good family history, unlike mine. They're all living to the 90s and doing okay with all that. So when he had a heart attack, when we were both sent to the emergency room after this wreck, and I got to the section where he was, they said, your husband had a heart attack. We put in a stent. I'm like, oh my God, you're kidding me. I'm the one that should have had the heart attack. So it was a wake-up call. And here's the thing I was getting ready to tell you. They shot a stent up through the problem artery, but they found out that the widowmaker is 60 to 70% blocked. It's a bullet in the chamber. And it's, if it were more, he would have had to have probably bypass or something. I don't know what. Now that's the thing. People get to choose. Now it's really, it's right up against it. You can either do something which will help open those arteries back up again, or you can keep going down the road where they close up a little bit more and a little bit more, and eventually you're going to have a heart attack. And some people, I mean, I have a friend who we had a discussion about this, and this person chose to go with the surgeries and the pills and be so as not to have to give up the sexy, lovely food, which is not for me. I want, like Andrew Taylor says, I want to have an interesting life and boring food. So, and my food's not boring. That's the thing. That's a tragedy. I'm a foodie. And like you are, and we know that the food can be lovely.
So is your husband now on board? Did he get the message?
Yeah. Yes, he is. And he was kind of dragged along into the whole vegan thing. But after this, we threw away all the nuts and all the granola. And, you know, he's he's more likely to eat the salads. And that's all we have is salads and fruits and vegetables and lovely steamed things and beans and greens and all that good stuff. So he's eating it, and he's gotten through the tunnel of change. So I think he's at the point now where, you know, because the first part's hard, where you give up the things that you associate with comfort.
Well, it's until you realize that you can find almost every dish that I had, like, for example, baked beans. Okay. I love baked beans. And to me, that's quintessential summer picnic food, that you have gatherings and everybody gets together and there's always the crock pot of baked beans somebody's made, and they're always unhealthy for you. I mean, you think baked beans, hey, that's good, it's plant-based. No, but then they cook, you know, like pork fat in it and oil, and you know, so I have created a recipe where I think I really nailed the flavor of that I remember that baked beans have, you know, that I just, So, you know, I've nailed that recipe. So it's just learning to find these recipes. Like, I always loved mac and cheese. And I was like, really? I can't have mac and cheese again? Or grilled cheese? Okay, I can still make that, but not grilled cheese, but I make a version of it. And it tastes just amazing, you know, and the tomato soup I make, tastes as good as the soup that I remember growing up. I think I've nailed that recipe too. So, you know, or mac and cheese, I've nailed that recipe. The first time I made the mac and cheese, I ate like 4 bowls. It was like, oh my God, I'm reunited with my best friend, you know. Yeah. And yes, I don't eat it every day because it's high caloric density, but there are times when I just go, okay, I need to have some mac and cheese today. And, you know, and I know that I can make it, that it's not going to be unhealthy for me. So, yeah, no, I hear you. It's just learning to find those recipes, because I think we all have like 10, 12, 15 maybe recipes that are go-to. Like, it used to be Mondays were, you know, meatloaf Monday, taco Tuesday, you know, and you'd have these set patterns of food. But now,
it's a learning curve. And I've been able to tell couple of neighbors and all, and a couple of them are actually trying it. So, you know, if you can just get over that hump and learn a few tasty recipes, which are potatoes, you know, for me.
I love my taters.
You can just eat them all the time. And I was telling my daughter just this morning that what Andrew Taylor said about reducing brain fatigue of choice. Yes. If you have potatoes, you don't even think about it. You just put a little, you know, I have to have a little salt. I know you're salt sensitive, but I put a little bit of some Bragg's liquid amino on there and eat that. Oh, it's so good. I can just eat that all the time. So
it is. It's once you learn how to make potatoes that are delicious. Oh my God. I call it the potato hour in the afternoon. I would always bring just a couple of extra potatoes. I would use a sriracha sauce. That's a vegetable sriracha. And it's so delicious. And wait till you see the ingredients for that. It's made by, I think it's called True Made Foods. And I just buy it by the case. I mean, literally, that's how much we use it. And so I just drizzle a little bit on potatoes and I heat it up in my mini Hot Logic, and that gently warms the food. I can just go down whenever I'm ready, because I work from home. So whenever I'm ready to eat and I feel hungry, I just go down and there's food heated. So they have a converter on the website, and I buy the big one. I bought the 9x13, so you can put like 4 or 5 different little dishes in there. And as we're traveling, So when we stop and get ready to have a meal, I can have a hot meal. I like a hot meal. I like a hot
Yeah,
meal
me too.
when I'm traveling, you know.
Yay.
And you can't ever find any food that'll be prepared for the way we eat, you know, at any rest stop. Or so I prepare it ahead of time and I make those dishes. And if I'm traveling on the road, I'll make those dishes ahead of time and put them into the cooler. And so what I do is I just get the ice. You know, I bring Ziploc bags and fill it with ice from the hotel that we're staying at. So, you know, that's a lot cheaper solution than those plug-in coolers, but it just works as well. So tell me, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the ability to swim upstream against the social pressure that is tremendous to cave in and to roll over. Like people at my age in their 60s are starting to just roll over into a miserable death lifestyle, like decline. I'm watching them all around me. They just you tell them about this. Hey, here's an opportunity. Try this. No, that sounds too weird. They just take some more pills and get a couple more surgeries. And, you know, I think it's important to be able to experiment and try something different, a different way. So I guess, and I'm proud that I have learned this and that I can share it with other people. That's really probably, I'm more proud of that than anything, being able to maybe help somebody else. I know I've helped a couple people in my immediate family that are, it's going to make a big difference for them. And I tell everybody I can, you know.
I know, because when you find this out, it's like, why didn't I know about this before?
I know.
Really?
I'm actually kind of mad about that, tell you the truth, because
I know.
I've had 40 years of suffering from being fat and shamed from being fat and feeling, you know, I still bend over like a fat person, as if I had a belly. I spread my knees and bend over to pick up the thing. And I'm like, I don't have to do that anymore. I can bend like a thin person. That's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just 40 years of it. I can't get out of the habit.
No, and I hear you on that. I mean, and there's some behaviors and mannerisms and just in walking and things like that I noticed. But now you know, like when I'm walking, I make sure I'm straight, you know, stand up straight. I don't bend over and, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't slump.
Yeah. No, I think we're not living longer. We're dying slower.
That's right. I like that. I like that slogan. That's what I've been telling people whenever I can, because they always say, "Oh, so and so lived to be 90." I'm like, "Yeah."
But look,
My dad lived to be 92, but the last 4.5 were in a nursing home, and the 10 before that were stooped over. He couldn't sit comfortably. He just had all these problems.
I want to be out hiking, kayaking, backpacking. I want to be going. I see you're in an art studio, and I know we've talked about your artistry, and I can see you want to be doing painting and doing, you know, we all have things that we got to do and want to do. And wow.
You know, that vegan mentor I had in college, when I went to see him about 5 years ago, he was 82 and he was breaking stallions. That takes some doing there, some athleticism to break a stallion. He worked on a horse farm and he would, you know, get these horses ready for riding and all that. So, you know.
Well, give us a day in the life of Wendy. What do you eat? What's for breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Well, I found out that when I first started this, before I started the potato reset, I just thought I'll just cut out some fatty. I'm going to be fat, but maybe I can move 20 pounds. I thought that'll put me in a lower risk factor for comorbidities and things. So I was just, I got rid of breakfast and I found out, wow, if I don't eat breakfast, I'm fine. All I have to do is have some hot, you know, tea-like stuff and I drink as much as I want and then eat at lunch. And that'll save me 300 or 400 calories right off the bat every day. So that'll help. So that's what I did. And then when I found out about the vegan reset thing and the potatoes and all that and how to eat, I've continued that. I don't eat breakfast. Then lunch is whatever. It could be anything because it might be leftovers, but I'm trying to make sure we always have a salad every day for lunch. When winter comes, I don't like cold stuff. So we may still keep the salad, but I'll probably be putting hot potatoes and hot toppings on that. But I definitely want to keep the salad.
Soup? I love soup.
Well, and then soup, yes. Oh, soup is a biggie. We eat a lot of soup in the summer and winter. And then at night, we eat usually something a little bit, I'm trying to keep my husband engaged, who's a little bit of a poo-poo about all this stuff because it's so weird sounding. It really is. If you tell people in the mainstream what you're doing, it sounds cult-like and odd. And I get a lot of eye rolling from people, I have to be honest. But so I try to make something which is interesting for dinner. Like I've learned how to make moat loaf recently with oats, where you just take anything wet. I learned this from Chef Bravos from True North Center. He takes oats and you just put anything wet in it, heat it up, and you've got a starch block, so you can flavor it any way you want. So I took tomato seasonings and put oats in it, but microwaved it really hard and cooled it off, and now I've got this oat loaf like stuff. I can put it on sandwiches or eat it like it is with ketchup. And so I have trying to have something a little bit interesting like that for dinner. And then this is probably bad. It is bad. It'd be better not to do it. But we, for whatever reason, we're going to do it for a while. We have a big old bowl of air popped popcorn with our movie night. We always watch a little something before bed, and we have a huge bowl of this popcorn, and it has nutritional yeast on it, sprinkled, not a lot, some, and a light spritzing of the Bragg's liquid aminos. It's a little spray bottle. You can mist it very lightly, then put on the nutritional yeast, and man, I'm telling you, it's delicious. And so we just eat that and watch our little movie, and that's pretty much how we're doing. And he likes that, and he's losing all kinds of weight now. So I'm very happy, because with COVID now, I just learned the other day that a BMI of 30 gives you 300% risk of intubation and misery in the hospital. So the lower the weight gets, the less likely you are to have to suffer all that stuff in the hospital. I mean, you might have to go, but if you don't have to have all that, it's better. So.
It's true. Well, what advice can you give for those people who are just starting out?
Take the plunge. Don't believe that about moderation. Oh, I'm just going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's how you never get anywhere. Just take the plunge, do a potato reset, and come out the other end with a clean palate and eat the food. Honestly. And it sounds severe, and yeah, it is. It's severe. So the thing is, if you're not really interested, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm motivated. I watched my father, wonderful man, die a miserable death because of a cardiac event that made him unable to speak. He needed nursing care. He couldn't walk. He couldn't go to the bathroom. He couldn't communicate with us clearly. It was heartbreaking. And we don't have to have that. So I'm highly motivated. I can't really blame people who are comfortable and they have not had the cancer diagnosis yet,
right.
But
I mean, you have to know your why. You have to know your why.
Yes, that's right.
No ifs, ands, or buts. If you don't know your why, then this is not the lifestyle for you. But that's what's so awesome about this. It's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. So I don't have to worry about okay, because I can sustain this.
Yes. That's so exciting. I mean, honestly, Jean, I had given up thinking I had to be a fat person because I've struggled with it for 40 years. And every time I would do a diet, the weight would always come back with friends. I'm just excited because I found out, no, that's not true. We can be a fit weight for us. I'm feel great. I never get sick. Here's all the benefits. Even my skin is different. I used to have cracked heels. I've had that for 30 years, and the heels would be so thick, calluses, that they were crack and blood, and it'd be like you could see the red underneath, and they hurt. I couldn't walk on them like that. So that was that. I used to have normal body odor, which is offensive, and you want deodorant. I don't have any body odor now. What else? I don't have dandruff. As soon as I got rid of, this is right up in your thing, as soon as I got rid of those shampoo, I don't have dandruff anymore. And I only wash my hair once a week. And it stays fluffy all week long. It doesn't look like greasy. What else? I never get sick. I went 5 years between colds. And when I get a cold, it's a little cold. It's like go to bed for a day, wake up the next morning, feel kind of but go to work. And the next day you feel great. And everywhere I look, all the people I know are saying, "Oh, I've had this cold for 5 days," and there's, you know, bland and everything's. I don't have to do any of that. What else? There are so many others, and of course, my blood pressure dropped, my LDL dropped like a rock. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. Yay! I don't have hyperlipidemia, so I'm getting ready to have a lab in a couple of weeks. So I'm real excited to see these numbers. I'm plotting them all now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, well done to you. Congratulations. You're just absolutely glowing. Your skin, you're so radiant, and you're going to be an inspiration for the people in West Virginia. So well done.
I hope people will listen to this message. Honestly, I feel a little like John the Baptist walking the dusty road telling an unpopular message in a haircloth bag, you know, but it's the gospel of good nutrition is what it is. It's the truth, and you can't deny it. I mean, you can not choose it, but if you choose it, the benefits are fabulous, as you know.
Well, keep on spreading the good word. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today.
Thank you, Jean.